I am Lavitria Terrell, and I will discuss with you homelessness, the state of homelessness in Detroit. So, Detroit has become notorious for its urban blight with at least 70,000 vacant commercial buildings, 31,000 unoccupied houses, and 90,000 empty lots. No one claiming responsibility for any of them. Now, that's 191,000 unutilized properties. We can put with them to some good use. Contributing factors to current conditions is that over 140,000 manufacturing jobs were lost when the big three, Chrysler, GM, and Ford, when they automated thousands of jobs and moved operations out of Detroit and the U.S., causing an alarming reduction in employment opportunities in the city. Concurrently, ineffective leadership aroused decisions to invest in constructing in new highways to accommodate those traveling from the suburbs to work in the city, rather than building affordable housing or developing an adequate public transportation system. There was also the 1967 riots and the trail of racial tensions that remain unresolved. Add to that deviations on the political front, shifts on the social front, collapse of the housing market, and of course, being forsaken by the auto industry, a major contributor to the city's population and economy for more than half a century. Once dubbed the Motor City, Detroit's loss of manufacturing jobs triggered a gross depletion of tax-based revenue that eventually led Detroit to file the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history. Now, the citywide impact was that with more than half of the remaining manufacturing jobs located outside the city limits and cities like Livonia and Novi opting out of the mass transportation system, Detroit residents, most of whom are Black, have limited access to viable employment opportunities, forcing them to sacrifice essentials just to get by. The Department of Human Services is overwhelmed with applications from people displaced by foreclosure, layoffs, disabilities, death of a spouse or family member, addiction, serious health issues, and insufficient wages, among other things. Discouraged by life-altering circumstances and frustrated by lack of local employment options, insufficient training or education, feelings of hopelessness, and absence of safe, affordable housing options, many people escape into depression, engage in excessive drug or alcohol use, commit violent crimes against themselves or others, or completely withdraw from society and its demands. Now, what I just shared are examples, snapshots of events and barriers that have disrupted the lives of Detroit residents for decades. Forced into the streets, these once responsible, skilled, educated people become members of Detroit's homeless population. Devastated by a series of unforeseen circumstances, competing for resources to stay afloat, they now live on the street using whatever they have left to survive. Exposed and vulnerable to everything seen and unseen, homeless persons fall victim to acts of violence at such a disturbing rate that Congress amended the Hate Crimes Statistics Act of 1990 to specifically include homeless persons as a protected class. Now, suggestions from my community. Let's face it, poverty is the primary issue affecting City of Detroit residents. Lack, need, brokenness, and helplessness are impossible to ignore, and examples of systemic exclusion and discrimination ring loud and clear. They're ingrained in this country's fabric. But I'll focus on what's in front of me, what I look at every day: unutilized, wasted property. Now, plans for development are underway throughout the city. However, nothing has been planned or allocated to improve my community, which is bound by north and south by Wyoming and Ewald Circle, and east and west by Linden and Davison. Now, at the beginning of this meeting, I mentioned a total of 191 unutilized properties within the Detroit city limits. I propose the following. Number one, negotiate with the City of Detroit Land Bank to have abandoned and vacant properties within my community boundaries donated to my 501c3 outreach organization. We will refurbish said properties to offer shelter and ultimately ownership to homeless and struggling individuals and families. Let's call them future residents. 2, enlist a certified building or property inspector to assess the viability and safety of the properties. 3, obtain reconstruction materials, building permits, etc. through grants, donations, financial contributions, in-kind donations, volunteers, and collaborations with other nonprofit organizations, including Habitat for Humanity. 4, delegate skilled and knowledgeable community members to assist with planning, organizing, and contacting local businesses. 5, invite health professionals, churches, city councils, city leaders, school administrators, mentors, community activists, and a wide range of advocates to offer support, assistance, and information on available resources. 6, future residents will assist with the reconstruction to renovate donated properties. 7, through partnerships with other nonprofit and community organizations, future residents will be introduced to nearby opportunities for employment, education, training, legal assistance, and counseling. 8, future residents will pay it forward by participating in the reconstruction of other acquired homes in the community for new future residents. And 9, discuss need sharing. Babysitting, grocery shopping, transportation to the doctor, lawn and snow maintenance. We use this to build community relationships. Now, as unconventional as this proposal may seem, it is my belief that the rebound of Detroit and its urban communities is highly dependent upon its residents. Potential challenges to this proposal do not escape me, and a detailed description of stakeholders, community leaders, funding sources, and partnerships are essential. Homeless people must be willing and interested in being housed, and enthusiastic participation from the community is vital. It is no longer enough to give a homeless person food or clothes. They also need to know that they are not being judged, that they are welcome, that they matter. How each refurbished house is offered to people in need will vary according to factors specific to their situation. But the end goal will be the same: to facilitate the transition from homelessness to community living and restore self-worth and dignity to those victimized by circumstances. Now, to take properties that currently stand dark and uncared for and turn them into homes for individuals and families who have been treated in the same manner is the core of humanity and goodwill. And I am extremely proud and excited about restoring a vibrant sense of acceptance and equality to the community I love. Thank you for your time.